You would think that Out of the Shadows is a reference to our stealthy heroes taking a step out into the surface world. You know, as stealthy as 8-foot mutants skydiving with a rocket-powered skateboard can be. But no. It refers to two very specific shadows. First, the first film's reception. Good luck with that one. And the second shadow actually goes hand in hand with that because it's the shadow of this guy. And good luck with that one too, because for some reason his shadow just explodes for like no reason whatsoever. When the last bastardized version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, I was justifiably harsh. I found the film downright awful, and for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is how derivative it was. It was a little similar to Amazing Spider-Man. It was a little more similar to Transformers. And it was very similar to having a red-hot poker shoved through your brain. I'm guessing. I also get the impression that this new incarnation of the Turtles was actually inspired by something else from the 80s. I mentioned in my previous review that Donatello really reminded me of Egon, and yet I thought about it. The nerdy one. The streetwise muscle. The leader who really brings them together as a family. And of course, the annoying and awkward one whose career you really hope dies by the end of the franchise. But comparing this to the Ghostbusters might be unfair to that classic franchise. I mean, who would be stupid enough to insult the name of the Ghostbusters? The reason I bring it up though is because both teams are very important to the story, and both teams in both stories really work well together. I know, I'm surprised too. You probably didn't think I'd have praise for this movie. Well, let me be clear on something else you might not have expected. As much as this isn't the original Ghostbusters, it's also not the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I mean that in a good way. I know, it is a better film, what can I say? But before I begin this love fest, let me be clear. I actually enjoyed this film more than the first one. There, I said it. I especially enjoyed how for the first time we really saw the Turtles work together. Not just little moments of so-called hilarity or character development. Which is nice to see they at least slightly improved on the four main characters. And I do mean slightly because I still found Michelangelo so annoying. But you know what? Progress is progress. And what better way to progress than with misogynistic regression? Speaking of midsections, progress, Megan Fox is once again in this film as April O'Neil. At least parts of her are featured, because why feature April O'Neil in her iconic head-to-toe yellow jumpsuit when head-to-toe nothing works just as well? Fine, but didn't we already establish that the previous film shat upon these iconic characters? Well then how about shatting on iconic characters they haven't had a chance to shat upon yet? But let me surprise you once again by sprinkling this turd sandwich with some deliciousness. I'm not going to eat that because I actually liked Bebop and Rocksteady, much to my surprise. Their character design was very close to the original cartoon. They were meatheads. Sure, they were annoying, but that's basically what the characters are supposed to be. Like I said, they are annoying, they're not perfect, but nothing in this movie franchise is even close to being perfect. So my lowered standards actually paid off. It gave Michael Bay a career, and it gives Bebop and Rocksteady the win. Hold up, okay. You know by now, real school's not always a love fest. Can we talk about some of the decisions when it comes to Bebop and Rocksteady though? Like I said, not perfect, especially because the writers considered instead of naming them Bebop and Rocksteady after they become a mutant warthog and rhino, it would make more sense if they're named Bebop and Rocksteady when they're human? In fact, Rocksteady's name on the prisoner list is actually Ryan Rocksteady. And don't even ask about Bebop's warthog nipples. I mean, who directed this? Joel Schumacher? But we're not really going for realism here, are we? I mean, we have an interdimensional brain alien at crotch level that controls a giant robot, and nobody in the movie seems to blink an eye. Nor do you as an audience member. But what you do blink an eye at is, once again, Krang was pretty good. Brad Garrett's voice characterization was pretty funny and a tribute to the original cartoon, and the animation was decent. But not all new additions worked, and it saddens me to say that a Canadian was one of the weakest links. Stephen Amell is absolutely killing it on Arrow, and a lot of people love that show, so of course he gets another opportunity to play a beloved comic book characters, but my Canadian god did he phone it in. Like, calling long distance from Toronto international charges kind of phoned it in. And he wasn't even the worst one. The last time I reviewed a film with Tyler Perry in it, it was the brilliant Gone Girl, and he was brilliant in it. Brilliant in a brilliant movie. In fact, I couldn't even believe the guy had that kind of acting chops. And yet, in Out of the Shadows, it was like Eddie Murphy in The Clumps. I mean, it was so... oh, there's the aneurysm. Yeah. It was almost as if Perry's Baxter Stockman was from a different movie, like he brought in one of his Medea characters. And in a franchise where Michael Bay thinks everything is awesome, all the jokes are hilarious, and everything takes itself way too seriously, Perry went the opposite direction. He went in a route where no one could possibly take this performance seriously, not even kids. Maybe it was a paycheck, but it's definitely the, are you for real? Almost as if he was one movie behind. And nobody wants a repeat of that. Alright, enough is enough. If I'm any more sarcastic this episode, I'm gonna have another aneurysm. Let's not circle around this like a warthog's nipples. Okay, it's better than the first one, but how hard is that exactly? To no one's surprise, that still makes it a burn it. Poll question, what is the sequel you actually can't believe got made? As always, leave your answers in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to Real School, follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link and you can become a part of my Patreon team. But until next time, school's out.